Oh, good evening, everyone. Good day, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Today we're having a session on what are paginated reports, what are paginated reports. And today the session will be handled by me. My name is Ifeanyi Benedict Iheagwara. So the Power BI learning community is brought to you by UrBizEdge and be sponsored by Enterprise DNA. So Enterprise DNA is a community of Power BI learners, and their goal is to empower Power BI users to change the world. So they have various courses which you can find on their websites. Also, the Power BI learning community is very sponsored by and powered by UrBizEdge. And UrBizEdge is a Microsoft Excel consulting, financial modeling, business intelligence, data analysis, and enterprise solution firm here in Nigeria. We specialize in helping companies and high-value professionals be on top of their business data. They're also the developers of the Nigeria Financial Market Analysis tool, which you can find in the Microsoft Office store, and developers of the Nigeria Stock Analysis dashboards as well. Okay, so my name is Ifeanyi Benny Iheagwara. I'm a data analyst and trainer at UrBizEdge. Also an open source contributor and also a technical writer as well. Yeah. So if there are any questions, since I'm also moderating it, you just have to just type the question in the chat box and I'll get a notification and I would respond to the question as well. Also, again, I'll also give some people's I'll make the people available right now also have presenter access, so you could also unmute and ask a question if there are questions at the moment. Thank you. Okay, so you should be able to unmute and ask the question. Okay, so we'll be looking at paginated reports. So what are they used for, and what exactly are they? So paginated reports they are reports that the whole idea of it is that they fit well in a page. So they're very different from your Power BI report. They fit well like you printed a Power BI report. And the good thing about them is like they allow you can literally fine-tune every part of your report. You could fine-tune how the numbers appears, what size is your table. Like literally every single element in your table can be fine-tuned and adjusted to you. They give you the ability to do all of that. Everything is, you can create a paginated report. You can also manage it in your Power BI service, which is the online version of Power BI, where you publish your reports and do most of your development, the deployment and all of that. And those allow you can also export it if maybe you can't publish it in Power BI service, because to publish in Power BI service, you need to have a premium license, which many of us do not have. So if you can't publish it in Power BI service because you do not have a premium license, you can also export this report after you're done building it, either as an Excel file, as a PDF, or even an HTML link as well. And the good thing about it is that everything fits well in the page, like I mentioned before, and you can display literally every data that you have in your table. So your data does not appear like whenever you do a table. For example, let's take a look at this table. So this is what we're going to be using. Yeah. So now that you've created this table, you see this table that shows the sales log. It gives me display of at least the very first 6 different rows, but I can't see every single sales log except I use the scroll down to scroll down. So you can make a report that's more of like you printed a page and you can see literally every issue of every of those sales logs as well in using paginated reports. So what are the use cases of paginated reports? So like I mentioned earlier, they allow you to format your pages. So you can format your pages based on a strict business requirement. So you can format the pages to have your logo, to have your letterheads, and display every literal sales logs, just like you printed it in a report and you're giving it to either to your manager or even for more analysis. You can also recreate existing PDF reports. So if there are PDF reports, maybe you have done reports in Power BI desktop, you have published it, and you always go and manually create a report saying either maybe a PDF. You have to go and download the data, you make it as a PDF, and you submit it. You can create a paginated report and like literally automate this entire process and make it like we create that report exactly in paginated report just to look exactly like how you print it and submit it. You can, and there's no need for you to export. You can export all this data. You export this data, and it doesn't really have like a limited number of row limits that it allows. So you can display literally every logs that you want it to display, and you can also optimize the layout of your pages because you can fine tune, like I mentioned, every single element in this report. And you can also set up, and if you publish it again in Power BI service, you can also automate it to people will be going as an email subscription to the end users or your shareholders. Okay, yeah. So the first thing is where can you download paginated reports? So to download it, you need to use the report builder. And to use report builder, you can easily download it from. You can easily download it from. You can just go to Google and type report builder, and it will give you a link to the Microsoft Store where you can make it more elaborate because there's one for So where can you download? So you can download it literally on the Microsoft website. You click just search for Microsoft Power BI Report Builder and download it. Yeah, you can also download it again from the Microsoft Store on your desktop or laptop. All you have to do is come and search for the Power BI Report Builder. So this is it. I've already installed it. So you can just download it here. And if there's any updates, you also automatically updates it for you as well. So that's actually one of the reasons why I prefer download it on the Microsoft Store. Okay. So to get started, to create a paginated report, when you have downloaded it, you have this how it looks like. These are the report builder is. Okay. So once you download the app, you go through all the necessary installation that you have to do, and you get the Power BI paginated report, which is this. Okay, so this is the outlook of paginated reports. It shows you it's very similar to how your Excel and how your Power BI interface looks. You always have all your ribbons or your tabs up here, and this is where you put your data, which we're going to come into, and this more of like the reports layout where you can edit and manually like throw in your parameters, throw in your values to produce the report. And here you change the elements of your report. Like I mentioned, you can change literally elements of a report. You can fine tune every single part, the background color, the font color, what size should it be, and all of that. You can fine tune everything right here in this interface. So to create a paginated report, you just have to go to your Power BI service, go to a publish report, for example. So we're going to use this report, and you go to our data set here. So whenever you publish your reports from your Power BI desktop into Power BI service, it always places it into like the report, the data set, and if you use this to build a dashboard, it creates a dashboard. Like you can see, this one has the data set and the dashboard. If I look somewhere, I should see the reports. Okay, so this is the report and this is the data set. Okay, so what I would just do is click on this 3 ellipses and you see create paginated report. You create on it, it installs it, and if you notice, it installs it and it gives you this .rdl file. So .rdl file just means report definition language. That's the extension for it. So PyD. So I click on it and it opens it in Power BI Report Builder for us. Okay, so now it has opened the report for us. So the first thing you need to do is what you have done right now. We have done our data set. That's our data set. So your data source is just looks like you're linking your Power BI the report builder to your Power BI service to pull in your data set. So it's that you can also manually do it here. When you click on here, you see add Power BI dashboard, data set connection. If you add data source, you can click on it and you can pick in the source you want. If it's from an external source, if it's from a Power BI data set connection, you click on this. If you have not signed in, so you can say I've already signed in. If you're not signed in, it will prompt you to do your necessary signing, put in your credential, grant it access to your workspace, and to list out all your workspace. And you can go to the workspace and click on the report. So yeah, you can click on the report and everything. Okay. So this is the Paginated report. So I've right now. So say that you condense it from here, or you do it, you go to Power BI service and you tell it to create it and you open the file for you. So once you have done that, let's get started to our to the main task of the day. Yeah. So we're going to look at how we can edit our elements, how we can add, how we can create charts, how we can create tables and all of that. But we're not able to touch on the publishing aspect of it. So how to publish it, because you need like I mentioned, in the premium license to do that. So we're not going to touch that aspect of it, but we'll see how we can export it as a PDF, and you can share that with those who don't have a premium license as well. Okay, so there's a difference between data source and data set. The data source, you're just connecting the report builder to your online service, or where you can pick in the data source. But you can't see, I don't have access to all the tables here. So the data set allows me to have access to the columns that were in that table. So if you look at this here that we have, so all of this here, we do like tables that were used to, like I go to file here and I go to click on edit here. And yeah, all of this, like, allows you to get access to all these data. So what was the data that was used? What was the column that was used? The date table and all of that. That's what the data set allows me to do. So to create a data set, you right click and you click on add data set. So is based on best practice, you've seen why, as we go move further, why is it best practice for you to give it a name. So you always give it a name. You always give every element we're going to create a name. And you can't give a space because it does not really allow you to have a space. So either you can, I'll tell you to does it like this. Just put every element should start with a capital letter, or you can just use the Python, this and put it like this to name it. Yeah. So you give it a name. So this is the PyD data. And you specify our data sources. So here you can also add as many data sources as possible, based on like practice, but it's always best that, so I think most times just 2 or 3. Yeah, you need to go. You also don't you don't want your report to be slow and all of that. But you can add as many data sources as you want. So you click on data sources, and if you have multiple data to show you, or you list out all the data sources you have granted this access to. And I click on the PyD, which I give it access to. If it's a new, I'll come here also add it again. So here it does not allow you to really write a query. So here you can write your query, but it's always best practice to go to the query designers to do that. So I click on my query designer. Let me see how I can remove this presenting sign. Okay, so it takes a few seconds to load. Takes a few seconds to load. Okay, so this is our query designer. So the query designer gives you access to create the data sets you want to use for your table. So everything it shows there are the measures that you used. I click here, and you see the measures that was created in that report. I can see the data, the date table. So we had two actual data. We had we set our measures. We also had dates and the data as well. So I go to this data here. Go to this data here and does drop in every table. So everything is just a drag and drop process. So for example, let me say I want to see the cost. But before the cost, maybe I also want to see the pie flavor. I can say I want to see, or maybe what's the cost? I want to see maybe the order number. So maybe I want this to come here. Okay. Okay. So I want the order number first. Then I want to see the pie flavor that was bought. I want to see the cost. I also want to see the quantity as well. So if I want this is great. I can also come here, go to my dates, and add the dates. If I want to see the particular day as well. And once you have dropped in all the columns that you want to make use of in your maybe your report, you click on this, click to execute. And it displays the data for you. So this is the data. So once you have done this, all you have to just do is click on OK. Okay. So once you've clicked on OK, it's going to take a few minutes and again, like a few seconds, and it will write in the query to get this data for you. And you just click on OK. It says still loading. Okay. So it's done, and I click on OK. Okay, so you can see now we have data set, and the data set we created was pi data and list all the columns that we needed there. So that's the data set. So now you can use the data set to create our report as well. So to create a report, let's say for example, I want to create a table. But before that, we can also specify the page that we want, like what size should our page be and everything be. So yeah, this is our page, and if you look at properties, you see the properties of our page. So this is the body of our page. I will go to body property here, and I can give it a color if I want to give it a color. If I want to give it, I want to add an external image or a embedded image, I can pick the image and also pick the border, like what should be the border lines and all of that. I can do all of that right here. And you pick the size of your page. So for example, if I want the page to be 7 inches, I can specify, and you see it increases it from 1 to 7 as well. This does the position. Then everything you can literally edit to like the page to as much as you want it to look like. So let's say I want this and I want a border should be maybe the width of the page should be 1.2. So that's like the borders, and I click OK. All right. So to add images or add stuff on your table, and if for example you open the report builder and you don't see this property, just go to your views here and take this. So that's why take this. Same thing with your ruler. If you're not seeing a ruler, just take it. That's all. Okay. So I can go to insert now, and I want to insert a table. So a table is going to allow me to insert a table. So I click on table here, and I want to use the table wizard. So this is the data set that we created, the pi data set. I click on it, and I click on next. And it gives me this very similar to our, even though your Power BI matrix, your pivot table, the same, your rows, what rows do you want, what columns do you want, and what values do you want. The only difference that it doesn't add the filter options. Yeah. So I can pick what like actually be arranged by data row like. So when we want my dates, then I want to see the orders. This is on what dates these orders were made. Then I want you to show me the what was bought. So that's the flavor of the pie that was bought or the type of pie that was bought. Then I want to see the quantity. And like I said, I want to see the cost. If, for example, I don't want this to show, I can also move this to, for example, like, sorry, the quantity here should be values and also what it costs here. And I click on next. and you see it shows everything here. If I don't want this subtotal, so you see it's giving me a total at literally almost every value, like a total. So if I don't want this total, I can untick this, and it just shows like this. If I, for example, want the total in a different way, I can pick any of these options as well. And I can also move the expand or not expand. So I don't want a total, so I'm just going to untick that. And I click on next. And this is the just created the table, and I click on finished. So this everything here now. And if I want to see how this looks like so far, I'll click on the run. So once you click on the run, it runs the report and it shows you an overview of what you have done. It's always good that whenever you implement something in Power BI, in the report builder, you occasionally run it so that in case there's an error, you can first of all find out where it was wrong. And you can also find out if maybe even the dimensions you are doing does it look okay when you print it out. So you will not print it out and have like you have extra spaces at this corner or you have this at this corner that you would like to change. You can find out if you run whenever you literally make any new changes to the report. So there's a question. Okay, I so still running takes a lot of time. Let me close that one. That's all. And you can sense this open. Okay, so is there running or loading? Go back to design. Okay, so it's taking too long to run. Okay, so usually let me try to reduce the number of stuff that's maybe on it. Learn to the course. Edit. Maybe dates. Okay, so let me just run this. Okay, so we have this table. Let me just make it smaller. So we have the order dates, and now we have and we have the five label. Something the same. Got that. Okay, so let us use another report. I use this and create a smaller table. So I click on next. I'm going to just go to use the order and let me use the cost as the value. Use the next. No subtools. So next and finish. This should take less time to run. So I'm just going to move it and put it here. And I click on run. What happens? It's trying to delete this and it's not. Sorry. No. Let me open it. Okay. So I'm adding my data sets. I'm also do something smaller. Data source, go to my base. We're a designer. Okay. So okay, so for the data, I'm also going to use the order number by flavor and the cost. So I've visualized as previous listing. Was version. Oh no, so the file extension for Power BI Report Builder is the RDL. RDL. Then yeah, he has a lot of the functionality as the one for SQL. Yeah, as so I put the cost, then I click to execute. Okay, so it executes everything and I click on OK. You give it a few seconds to write the query for you and you press OK. That's taking so much time. Okay, so you have created a data set. I'm just going to insert right now a table. I want to use data. Click on next and I put in the report I want. So I want and I just want the cost. Click on next. Oh, not subtotals. Next. So create this. So once it's done with the report, you can always run the report. That's it too. Now let's detail stuff. Okay, yeah. So now this is the report. So it has already run the report for you. And if you want to see how it looks like when you print it, you click on the page printout. The page, and this is going to appear if you print it. So this is usually something you do. So whenever you just build it, always go and run it so you take a look at how it looks like. So if you notice our cost is showing 1.2 up in this one, but it's not showing us any like a monetary value. It's just showing us numbers as well. So I can go back to, if I go back to the edit mode, I click on design to go back to the edit mode. And I can click on this to even change the I can click on this and right click, and here it allows me to change the property. So everything that you have to do is how you change your values, how should it look like, has to do with the property of the table, of the column, of the graph. So I click on test property, and see that I to increases, I to reduces, and it shows the name is cost is. I can close to the numbers. The number is very similar to your Microsoft Excel, how you format your data in Microsoft Excel. So I want to give it a currency. I also wanted to have the 1,000 projector, the 100, and maybe I want to make it in dollars. So I click on OK. So again, you actually not see anything, but when you click on run again, you would see you not see like what exactly got changed and what exactly happened. Yeah, so now you can see that now it does the dollars. So I click on design. So in the design mode, yeah, you don't really see the effect of most of the things that you do. Like that. So this is how you can create a table. You can change the table size or give it a color, change how should it look like, and everything right from the properties here. You can also right click if you want to change a particular property as well for your table. So beside you creating a table, you can create a chart, and you can see you can insert a lot of other stuff here. You can create a rectangle, you can create an image. So for example, this for our company, lots of about doing a pie business. So your business has a pie business. And I want to get a logo. So I want to have the logo right here in the document. So I click on image. And add the image here. So like I mentioned, it's always good that you have a name for everything that you add on your graphs. Add on every canvas you add on this canvas so that you can find out if there's an error to find out exactly what went wrong. So this is going to be a logo for the pie business. And I want to have embedded, they want to import it. I can click on import. And I want to, it's going to be in this document for report with, and I want all files, some kind of files. So this, I click on OK, and I have the image here. So here, the size of the image, should it fit to proportion? I think that's okay. I can, let me just add one. So it's okay, and I go to visibility. If I wanted to, whenever I click on the image, should it go to a particular URL? Like I can click here and enter the URL, but we have none of that. Or I can go to the URL here and add the website. So for example, I want whenever you click on it, it takes you to UrBizEdge.com. So I'm just going to copy this and here and paste it here. I'll go to the border and give it a color, everything I want to do, and click on OK once I'm done. So it shows here, and I can add the image here. So I'm not going to run it now. I'm going to run it after that. Well, take a look at other stuff so that it takes a lot of time to run. So now I've added this to our document. And our page, I think our page is a little bit too big because now we don't really have a lot of tables, columns anymore. So maybe let's make our page to be 5. So I want to add a chart. So for us to add the chart, let's click on charts, and you can go to the chart wizard. If we want to use a totally different data set for our chart, so like now I pulled out order number, pie flavor, and cost. I don't use this for my chart. Maybe, for example, let's say we have like what quantity. I want to use the pie flavor and quantity, but you can see I did pull that out from the data here. I just have to create a new data set and create a new data set, and to be added to be part of the data set I'll see here, and I can use that for the chart. But I can also use the same data set I've already created as well. I go to the chart results. It will give me the list of every data set I've created here. And I click on select the one I want. I click on next. Then I want to do a column chart. So I click on let's go a bar chart. So I click on this. And just like your pivot table and matrix, I pick, for example, I want the categories to the pie flavor, and I want the value. Maybe I want to see the number of people that ordered this pie flavor, so I can use the order number, or let me see the cost based on the cost. So I click on this and I click on next. What I will fit for a chart. So it's the cost not in numbers, except data type chunk. Okay, so let me try this to work. Okay, let's see the other number language. So I think one of them is there are no, none of them has a one of the I think it's not in a number format. So actually format. Okay, so cost options. Okay, so I think that was not in a number format. So let me do another one by two. Let me get one in the number format. The source should also be this. Create design now. Okay, so the Microsoft Power BI E5 subscription, how is renewal work? Is it the Microsoft developer account? So I think the Microsoft developer account, it to renew it, I could be wrong, but I know developer account as long as you have, do you mean this? So you can create like a student developer account. Yeah, so I need to renew it as long as you make use of it, it's automatically renews. Okay, so go back to my data. Name is quantity. Like I mentioned, it takes a few seconds to click on OK. So this is the data source. Let me save this one out. I go to chat wizard. I want to use the second one. So I want to use the pie chart. Okay, so I want to whether it's size and nodes and I want the quantity. Otherwise, no. Yeah, yeah, that's it. Okay, so I guess we'll just have to skip that for now. Okay, so you can again add a pie chart, you just specify it and you create a pie chart and you can edit it. Then beside that, you can also have like give headers and footers for your document. So to insert a header, go to insert and insert headers, you see footers. So I click on headers and create an header for this document, which I can move the logo now to. I can also move the text box or even give it a text box by giving it maybe a text box and moving this here. And if I don't want this anymore, I just delete it. So I can move this up now. So I give the test box and call it this is the Pi business reports. And I can increase the font size if I want and give it the font size, the size off from here as well. I come here and increase this a bit and increase the So another thing you can also do in your then the footer, I come to insert and I insert a page footer and reduce this. So this is a footer. I come here and I right click and I can insert a footer. So I can set this as well. But another thing that footer allows you can also invert this built-in field. So built-in fields allows you to they have a lot of stuff you can add here. For example, you want to add the page number, you want to add the overall page number, you want to add the execution time and the rest. So I can click come to the execution time, I add it to the document, add it to this data. So drag it and leave it here. So this is execution time. So I want it to show here now in my execution time. So I come here and I put it here as well. So I put the execution time. And so if I run it now, it's going to show me the time that the report was run and as well as everything. I'm not so familiar with how you can, if my gets on the call, Michael will remove lock it up. Give me a minute. Problem. And right there, you can see the execution time as well. They'll say it shows you the day, shows you the time. You can even use the format button to format it to look a lot more better. Okay. Yeah, so I've messaged Michael. So I click on go back to the design and you have the execution time here as well. Like I also have the page number if I want it. So for example, the page number should come here. And I have the page number which to insert it here now. So another thing again about Power BI, they have this stuff which we call parameter. So the parameter allows you to it kind of like very similar to a filter. It's kind of very similar. I'll say it's similar to a filter. So you can kind of like filter in the data, or you have to put a different parameters before it displays the data as well. You can also do that. So I go to the pie, this your data pie. I right click here and I go back to my the dataset properties. No, not this. Yeah. So you can do it there, but you can also go to query. So go to query. Go to my query designer. And okay, so I go to the query designer. I zoom up. Right. So once you get the data, you see the dimensions here. So you got the dimension to your data. So for example, let me say I want to have a dimension for this data. The dimension to this data should has to do with my data, should come from my data table. And the hierarchy, I want it to be something that affects the pie flavor. So the pie flavor here, you should be able to, when it's equals to, and here you're allowed to pick, I click on all, not click on, I just click on this, and it lists me all the pie flavors that are available. So I can click, I want to make it a parameter, so I click on make it a parameter. And okay, so I come here and I want it to display plus, and I want to display all of them. So I click on OK. Yeah, so this works. Okay, so I click on execute query again. Reloading. Okay. I don't know if that's the one. If you created it. Um, so it's again. Go back to view. Sound a bit. Okay. So I click back here on parameters and it shows me the parameter that I just created, which is the pie flavor. So you created the parameters and I can increase this. So these are the parameter blocks. So if I go to your home bar, can I click on run? So this parameter here. So now I can select if I want to delete a report for Apple, and I click on View Reports. And now it only shows the report only does for those that got the Apple. But there's no product flavor name, so now let's see. Right, so let me add the flavor. Yeah. Okay. So now if I click back on run, it's you can also make it that, for example, maybe you don't also want to show literally everything. Like maybe you have to pick it before you actually you have to pick the parameter you want before you actually displays any result by going to the parameter properties. So parameter property allows you to do like edit your parameters, like what should it show you, what should not show you. So for example, like it wants to show you non-value, you can untick this. It wants to should not allow multiple values. So you can also untick that. It should allow multiple values. It should allow blank values. I can go to the available, go to the default. So the default is that you should not specify a particular default. The level values I get from your query, and I go to my general, click on OK. Click on OK. And now if I go back to my run, so you see now it shows me a blank report. So I'm being forced to pick a particular flavor before I actually get to see the report. So for example, now I say let me say cherry, and I click on view reports. And you see the reports here. So now I can see it shows me, so it only shows me for cherry. And I want to see the page printout. I click on the page printout to see how it looks like with the page printout. So I go back to the design, and I can just click on adding as much stuff that I want to add. So once you are done creating a report or creating the file you want to use, the next thing you usually have to do is you have to publish it. You save it first of all, save it out. You save it and then you click on your publish. So once you click on your publish, it will allow you to tell you to publish it on your workspace. But like I mentioned, you need to have a Premiere or a user license before you can publish it. So for example, if I click on anyone and I click on publish, it's not working because I do not have that license. So I can't publish the report. So I cancel. And so if you can publish it, you can as well also export it. So I click on the export and you can export your file. That's a PDF, HTML file, a CSV file, as a PowerPoint as well. So I click on as a PDF. It waits, it saves the file for me. I click on save and this is so I click on Friday and it shows me the report. So you see it shows me the page report of every report. So now I can see literally every details. And like I mentioned, it's going to show you because we added the footer should give us our page number. It shows us our page number, which is page 1 and the date, page 2 and the date. We can also format our date so it will look a lot more better as well. So I just cancel this, go back to my reports already 7 o'clock. So I go back to design. So that's literally most of it in the Power BI reports. And so make your report look a lot more better. All you have to do is just adjust the margins, the page size, your formatting, add your coloring as well. If you want that coloring, don't think I can just click on the file I want to import it. So for example, this page, I can give it a color. This is a font color. If I wanted to have the font color, so for example, I can come here, it says the alignment, the front color. I use the front color, so maybe it should not be black, it should be green. I click on OK, and now it's green. So I don't know if there are any questions. Is it possible the support we can include the Power BI for desktop for both reports sheet interact with each other? Many parameters we pass from Power BI for desktop sheet and parameters. Wait, means parameters we pass from Power BI for desktop and parameters to accept this report. Okay, no, so the only interaction the Power BI for desktop and the parameters here have, so that those parameters are the concept of both of them are very different. The parameter you have in your Power BI desktop and parameters they are kind of slightly different. So for the matter, they did similar, but at the moment, it's not possible for you to have a parameter here that also affects a parameter for desktop. You have to manually create the parameters here. Even notice that whenever we create, even when we imported a data source, we start to also specify by creating a data set to pick out what particular columns we plan on using for our report. So there's still not. So the only similarity is the fact that it's connected, and if you have a license, you can publish it straight into your desktop. You can also get access to all the data that you have in your Power BI service already, and so that's the only distant connection they have. So I don't know if there are any other questions. So any other questions? So can you easily show each filter set on a different page? Like, do you have to create each page separately? For example, page 1 on Apple on page 2, Blueberry on page 3. Okay, so you want each page to have its own different. Okay. So if you want each page to have its own listing, I think you probably have to create like 2 different tables, because this one that is only showing just this. If we click on the run, what is actually happening is, if I click on run, those apples could have like 1,000 like columns. So does the apple, for example, like now I pick this apple and I click on view report. Just 1,000, does the apple could have like 1,000? Yeah, does 1,000 could have like, see, it has up only 26 pages, just apple itself. So we have like up to 26 records of orders from apples in the particular year that we're looking at. So if you you have another table again that does it, you can actually create multiple parameters if that's what you mean. But or you have a table that you create, you have you can create multiple parameters besides parameter, and create another parameter as well for the same data. But at the moment, I don't think you can have like a page that's just showing apple, a page just saying blueberry, a page just showing. You could create another table as well and give that table its own parameter. So that table's parameters, maybe for blueberry, the other parameter has its own other one. But after it's done showing the result for apple, you now move on to show result for blueberry. Except maybe you make each parameter here, maybe like no parameter, you can pick multiple values. So you can pick apple or blueberry, and it shows both on together. So it's not going to be more than 26 pages. It could be up to like 30 something pages. So I used to create like parameter for a total difference. You can also create a parameter here that shows maybe the year, specify the years that you want to add up to this report as well. Yeah. So since there are any other questions, I'll be ending the session. So everything will be available on our YouTube. So the YouTube link is the YouTube link. The videos will be made available on YouTube. Then next week we have another session. The session is going to be on SWOT analysis in Power BI, and also another session again in Excel, which how to communicate data insights effectively. So thank you again for the session, and thank you for attending.